Hello, 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 hello.
Welcome, welcome.
Hi, 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 hi. Oh, it's fantastic. Look at y'all. There's a cow here. Nice.
A cow?
Yeah, there's a cow, little baby
Oh.
calf, actually. A calf.
All righty. In here. Welcome to the Sid City Social Club for Friday, August 19th. We're glad you're here. All right, over to Sid.
Hi, guys. Been running around like a blue-assed fly today. And if you don't know what never heard that phrase before, ask a British person. I've been I had to get my COVID booster this morning and then go to do some additional dialogue recording for Shantaram and then go and try and figure out a prescription thing at a doctor's office thing. Oh, it's like a nightmare day, but it's all good. It's all got. I managed to get here back here on time. But what will happen as a result is I'll just be doing. Be like next Friday, for example, I won't be able to do it because that will be the first day I have in Europe, and I know I won't have time. There'll be so many things I've got to get done. But it's a good segue into kind of, the future iteration of our meetings and what's going on. So for the time being, will be Fridays, a couple of Fridays a month. Yes, that's where I'm at. So my brain is a little bit frazzled, but that doesn't stop us. We'll keep going.
That hasn't stopped us before. It won't stop us
Negative.
Now.
No way.
So just to reiterate, we will not have a meeting next Friday. No. And we will be transitioning into a twice a month schedule. It will be on Fridays because of the time difference, but we don't know exactly which Fridays yet. So stay tuned.
It's all up in the air.
It's all good though. We're excited that you are going to go work and
maybe.
All right, so we're going to get started with a birthday shout out for Zoe.
Oh yeah.
Hi.
There you are.
I was just brushing my teeth.
Oh, well, that's really good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Needed doing. I'm sure it needed doing.
I'm sure no one wanted to see that though, so.
It's a random time of day. I brush my teeth at random times of day too. Is that because I forget? I'm like, oh, well, we got to say happy birthday to your lovely sibling next to you, but we didn't get to say happy birthday to you. So happy birthday!
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 Everyone, I'm so
Phone
excited.
Phone it in.
Yeah, finally experience that. I'm just here for the birthday shout out because we just talked, so I'm gonna let you talk to Zoe. But
okay,
yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
That's totally cool. That's totally cool. You can be here, be elsewhere, as you want. So what is going on in your life?
Oh my gosh, there's so much going on, it feels like. I don't know. I feel really happy and excited about life.
That is fantastic. What a great feeling. Isn't that great feeling? It's like,
yeah. And since I graduated, I feel like it's been a bit of a learning curve for me because I've always been in school.
Yeah.
So, and I had a lot of money saved because, as you know, I've been busking since I was a kid. So I kind of took a year after school to just explore.
Yeah.
And I've kind of settled on what I see my life path being. And
oh my God, how exciting! What was your inspiration like? What happened? What'd you get up to?
It was kind of just me checking out different things I might want to do.
Yeah.
I think last time I talked to you, I was really interested in acting. I was taking a few acting courses.
Good.
Yeah, but I don't know. Then I was like, oh, I don't think I like the idea of exploring humanity and people.
Yeah.
From a performance angle, because I also love performing, but I was like, oh, the industry is kind of messed up, and
it is kind of messed up.
I wouldn't want to, you're kind of at the whim of the writer and director, and I'm like,
yeah,
I don't think
and there's do that. There's too much stress on the wrong elements about us. There's a lot. You're forced to focus on the way you look.
Yes, exactly.
In a weird, overweighted way that doesn't make sense for a normal person. So you're kind of chipping away at your own personality in order to become an actor.
Yeah. Well, I do think acting would be amazing if every script was just amazing and understood people. But then like you kind of look at what's out there and I'm like, that is so rare. No
Yeah.
thanks.
90% is just
Yeah.
trivial. Yeah, absolutely.
So I was like, that's not for me really. I was really looking into like science communication because I thought I love science too. And yeah, but then I really fell in love with music again in like March. And
you know, you've been doing it all your life, but it's crazy to throw that away. It's like forgetting a language, like I did. I forgot a language. How dumb is that? I think that is terrific.
Well, I've actually never talked to this about you, but it's kind of like one of the main things I do is I've been obsessed with like journalism, and I do a lot of music journalism. I interview musicians and do like reviews, and I've been doing that since I was 14.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. No, no one knew that. That's fantastic. So are you going to get excited about journalism again?
It's my favorite thing to do. I don't know if you've noticed, but I always have questions. I love talking to creative people. It's kind of an interesting way to explore humanity from a different angle.
That's really cool. I saw a really interesting documentary about, which is there's an academic whose name I don't know on the BBC Worldwide. It's the channel you get everywhere. That's just called BBC Worldwide, and it's free. There was a lady talking to a young writer. I say young, 35, 40. I don't know what age people are. And
wow.
yes, exactly. Still young. Weird. They were having a discussion about what inspired the writer, and exactly the kind of thing that you do, talk to an artist and try and get some sense of how they do their magic, and at one point the academic said, because the lady who was being interviewed said, I try and live in the present, and I try and describe my characters from the point of view of the now. The academic went, well, isn't that very presentist of you? And I was like, presentist, I've never heard that word before. And I think, but it's a kind of slur, it's like racist or presentist or pastist or, fattist. And there's all the ists have come out. And then I realized that the academic, and there was a real distinction between the academic and the artist, in that the artist does live in the present, has to live in the present in order to accurately sign out, semaphore, convey, whatever word you want to use, their truth, their experience to other people. And academics, and I could get a lot of trouble with this because we're about 80% academics in here, make money from not living in the present. They digest the past and they try and predict the future, and in order for the future to teach lessons for the future. And it could be argued that they are completely not here right now. They're just buried in a book. And so do you find do you get that sense of, do you get to be present when you're interviewing artists and of various stripes and colors?
When I kind of get into a flow state, I really love the kind of conversations I'm able to have. I do a lot of research before to kind of get a sense of what excites an artist, and sort of gear my questions for that. I like to take it on a bit of a journey. Like I like to cover early life a bit just to sort of get them comfortable, and then I like to cover the present in like what they're working on and excited about.
What are you doing to put in motion your new found dual ambition of music and journalism on a level?
For the past few months, I've been really looking into like the landscape of different magazines, and I've just been looking into like freelancing and how to make it as a business. And I put my portfolio up, and I actually yesterday I got an exciting email because I pitched like a few bands that I really liked to this really cool magazine called Alt Press. And yesterday I got the email back that like one of them was accepted, so I'll get to interview like one of my favorite bands for
fantastic
them, and it's kind of the biggest thing that I've been able to do, so that's something I'm really excited
Congratulations
about.
That's absolutely wonderful, Zoe.
I was obsessed with One Republic, and I read like every interview that they ever did, and I was like so frustrated with them being asked the same questions all the time, and I'm like, I will never do that. And I literally like started collecting like my own questions as I got into like different bands, and I'd watch everything they did.
Do you like what we call sort of experimental music, or is it really just about the algorithm, the alchemy?
I get into different phases. really, I'll listen to anything. Like, I just love sounds, and I love how they can make you feel different things, and I love the way that, like, yeah, different genres evoke different things, and I love like where different genres sit in culture. I think that's really exciting. Right now I'm really excited about disco, funk, jazz, soul.
Wow. Great.
Yeah, this band that they really inspired, like, gave me my new wave of excitement for music. They're called Parcels, and I'm like so obsessed with them. I'm going to see them in Berlin in October. It lined up perfectly with like my French family's going on vacation for 2 weeks.
That is super exciting.
Yeah, if God was to create a band that was specifically geared towards me, it would be them.
That is the biggest compliment you could possibly give them.
My,
so who are you going to, you don't have to tell me who you're going to interview, but the band you're going to interview, do you like their music already?
Oh yeah, I pitched them because I liked them, and I thought that the editor would also, because I like scrolled her like Twitter to see, kind of get a sense of what she liked. And I was like, yeah,
nailed it. You got it.
Hands.
Wow. And you know, music really is very I mean, obviously it's influential, but did you see this? There's a documentary about a group that I didn't know about, but they were quite big in the kind of noughts and 90s called, I think it's Rammstein. Became huge in the States and huge obviously in Europe, and they sing very big metal, a really heavy thrash metal.
Cool. I've been wanting to get into heavy metal. So.
Well, you could get into Rammstein. Well, you could at least look at the documentary. But what's really interesting about it is that there are a lot of people who are really musical and who kind of love it and understand what I mean. I don't think the American kids didn't understand a word of German. They self-confessed they had no idea what anyone was saying. It was slightly alarming because really what these kids wanted to do is destroy the place, and this music really revved them up to start, you know, punching each other in the face, and it's like, whoa, guys. And it struck me that the metal music, and I love a lot of it, you know, I'm big Foo Fighters fan who do kind of pseudo metal, and Metallica have done a few great numbers, and obviously back in the day Sabbath and all the Jethro Tulls, blah, 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 blah. Everybody has contributed some great stuff, but this band didn't have a way of disciplining their audience. They didn't have a way of going and relax. Now you're out. You've beaten each other in the face a lot. Now it's time to relax. And I think that musicians
clapping.
Yes, I think musicians have a responsibility, because what theatre does, it rips your soul out, you know, when you watch something like Aeschylus or something, and one of those Greek tragedies. It will literally take you and rip you up to see this mother killing her own child, for example.
Yeah, that sounds Greek for sure.
It's pretty heavy. And at the end, all the actors come out and bow, and there's this thanks. Yeah. And that kind of is really cathartic for the audience. And they don't go out and punch each other because they've just come down. You know, is that an interesting angle for you? Is that how bands, because I think that's an interesting question. I would ask a band that, do you feel a sense of responsibility for what you're doing to your audience? And do you shape your concert accordingly? How does it work?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I'll have to add that to my repertoire.
Look, Zoe, happy birthday, and I'm so happy for you that you've landed on your feet and that you're running.
I'm happy too.
Yeah, I can tell. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for talking to me.
Of course.
Thanks, Zoe. Congratulations on getting your pitch accepted. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. That's huge.
I also want to give a shout out to Molly, who's freaking out because she's seeing Rammstein in concert in 3 weeks. So that whole part of the conversation, I think she was like about to vibrate through her screen.
Oh my God, they're still doing stuff? That's amazing. That's really cool.
Okay, we've got another birthday to celebrate. Deb, who is a dedicated lurker, but whose daughter signed her up for a birthday shout out.
Uh-oh.
Let's see if we can get
daughter signed up
to respond.
Let's see if you even want to be here, Lucky Deb.
Doesn't sound like it.
I like it.
Mom, that's you. There is not another Deb to my knowledge.
There's only one Deb here.
Sid?
There
I didn't know I was
you
going
are.
to talk to you today.
Deb. Well, you are. Your sister ratted you out.
My who?
Oh,
My
your
daughter?
daughter ratted you out, of course.
I mean, thanks for the compliment.
Hey,
but-
you look just like each other. No, you got ratted out, and because it's your birthday, so happy birthday!
It was a
Happy
couple
birthday.
weeks
Happy
ago.
birthday.
Happy
Birthday.
birthday.
Happy
Can't stop the birthday tsunami once it starts. Doesn't matter when it was. Did you have a nice day though?
I had a wonderful birth. Oh, I just got back, and my husband and I took a very long trip just before my birthday. So I was enjoying being home doing nothing for my birthday.
Yeah, isn't that the best? Did you go on a trip for a reason or just serendipitously?
We added vacation into it, but we were burying my husband's mother's ashes.
Oh, but that's actually quite a joyful.
She
thing to
died
do.
months ago,
Yeah.
but we finally got the family together to go out
Right.
west and bury her next to his dad.
Oh,
and
was that
visit.
it?
And I hear Colin and I were at Devil's Tower on the same day.
Oh my goodness, Colin hasn't shut up about how amazing Devil's Tower is. That's amazing. And what do you think of it? Because it's
Oh,
where,
I thought it was amazing.
for those who don't know, that's where the da 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 that stuff was
Oh
filmed.
yeah, that too. But I like it just because I know it's magma from the inside of the earth that hardened in the earth. And I'm into volcanoes.
I was about to ask, are you a volcanologist of some sort?
I'm not a volcanologist, but sitting at home for 2 years, the pandemic and sitting at home. And I started watching the one in Iceland. And then I started watching Etna. And then I realized that every day there's 6 to a dozen volcanoes erupting someplace on Earth every day.
Yeah.
And you can watch them live on YouTube.
Wow. And did you do that? Is that a thing you do from
And
time to
that's
time?
a thing I do. So then I got into geology and started attending free geology lectures online and all
It's
this
an
stuff.
astonishing subject though, isn't it? I mean, it's the
amazing.
whole the tectonics, plate tectonics, and what goes on underneath us, and the
Yes, my one daughter says, that means you know about rocks, right? And I go, no, not really. I do the volcanoes and the plate tectonics and the earthquakes and the
You're
big
good at
things.
runny rocks. When rocks start becoming runny, then
They're
that's
interesting.
your area. It's fascinating. Yeah, I'm just because I remember that volcano. I think you and I are probably pretty similar age. So remember the Mount St. Helens?
Thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, I mean, you've done. And it blew the top half of the mountain off. The
Yeah,
volcano.
it lost like 1,200 or 1,400 feet or whatever. Yeah.
You get some serious energy kicking in there. Because
Yeah.
I know that right now everybody's in, I think it's Finland, is it? Or is it?
Iceland has the
Iceland.
one that went off a couple years ago has been re-erupted.
And everybody's going to watch it casually. It's I always find that really funny when people just walk up casually to a volcano and start looking at
Depends on the kind of lava.
Yeah. I saw lava at Mauna Kea in Hawaii.
And that you can walk up to.
Yeah, it was very slow moving. It was
Yeah.
like almost, but it was fiercely hot, but it was not frightening. And you could see it going into the ocean and and just hissing with anger about
And
cold
places like Mount St. Helens and Etna and White Island, you don't walk up to those unless you know they're really, really quiet because they're going to explode.
Yeah. So that's fascinating. And do you find that you're kind of sucked into really, the academic side of it? Because I know there's tons of
absolutely.
YouTube videos on
Absolutely. And like I said, started attending free geology lectures from this professor in Central Washington University. He does all his lectures online and everything, and started watching. And then we had the one in, I get really excited about volcanoes. That is really weird.
It's not weird.
The one on the Canary Islands that was, on La Palma. And I was watching that thing all day long sometimes.
That is a bit weird. All day.
Well, meaning it was on YouTube and I was doing other
I can't make lunch.
things.
I'm not coming to lunch. This is a really good bit. That's very cool, Deb. I love it. I love it that you found that out and that you're gonna. I think now you have to start contributing. You have to go on field trip.
I'm just waiting to get to Japan and see the volcanoes
Oh
there.
yeah, you're gonna go and visit Leia. Is that
I
gonna
would
happen,
love to. We'll see how that goes.
Leia? Got a project for you.
We'll see how it
No,
goes.
she
in
just wants to
terms-
come see the volcanoes. We
Yeah,
know
heck
what
with
her
Leia.
charge is.
Are you a cook or is anyone a cook in your
I used to enjoy cooking. Now I would just as soon someone else cook it for me. When I had a big family and you could make big meals, and now it's just my husband and I, and
yeah, that's tough. That is tough.
yeah,
And shopping also is, which is the time consuming part.
I do not like shopping, not even for fun things. I
Yeah.
just don't like shopping
I'm not a
anymore.
big shopper either. I don't do clothes or anything like that. I find something I like online and buy 5 of them. And that's it. I'm
That
done.
makes sense. Oh, whoever Molly is, she should come and food shop for me. She says it's one of her favorite things in the chat.
Whoever Molly is, I don't know who Molly is. I don't think we have a Molly, do we?
You must have a Molly.
We do. We know. We all know who Molly is. She's a lovely person. Quite likes. I think she's an arachnid. I can't remember what her expertise is, but anyway, we'll find.
Sid.
Ah,
Recently got a doctorate, I think.
awesome.
Yeah, went to Iceland. If I'm in Helsinki. So
Finland.
Finland.
But I did stop in Iceland.
Anyway, Molly, Deb, Molly. So did you spend much time, because both of your one of your daughters in Japan and the other is still in the States? I'm not quite sure.
Well, one lives with my husband and I. Another daughter is in upstate New York. She's married and has 3 children. And I have a son in Virginia who has like 6 kids, I think.
Wow, you got a family. You got a whole family.
Yes, he's the oldest, and then I got the 3 girls.
That's amazing. And what state are you in? Are you in New England?
I'm in Ohio. I'm reading the chats as we're talking.
Oh, well, good. That makes me feel great. Yes, Sid, you just keep going, mate. Yeah, I'll catch up with you in a second.
I can do 2 things at once.
You can absolutely do 2 things at once. And you know what? The whole point is you do whatever the hell you like. And that's the whole point of being here.
Okay, well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you too, Deb. And thanks for mustering the courage to come to unlurk for a couple of minutes.
Yes, I'm a lurker.
We know.
Thanks, Deb. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right, we do have one more birthday that we're going to slide in since
What?
we're not. Well, I know, I told you.
You
we
can't
only have 2,
slide in
but
birthdays. That's just okay. Let's do it.
since we're not doing a meeting next week, Betsy is celebrating her birthday next week. So
Oh yeah, no, Betsy, you're an
Shout
exception.
out.
Absolutely.
Betsy.
Oh gosh.
Where are you, Betsy?
Hi, Sid.
Hi, happy birthday next week.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday!
Happy birthday.
Thanks, everyone. Way to put me on the spot, Mel.
Oh yes. What do you plan? Are you planning anything for that day, or are you going to try and decompress?
I'm taking work, like off from work several days, relaxing, hopefully.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you deserve it. I can't remember what you did. Did we talk about it?
I don't think I actually have mentioned what I do.
It's none of my business, so don't feel you have to tell me.
Yeah.
I'm really nosy.
I'm a cataloger at a public library in North Carolina.
Fascinating job.
Yeah,
So
it's
what-
not
North
fascinating.
Carolina. It isn't fascinating to you? We've
It's
got a
very
couple of
boring.
Experience here, and that is certainly an element of librarianism. But I can imagine it getting tedious if that's all you do all the time.
It
Do you
can be.
do you feel shockwaves in being in one of the contentious states about what kind of books are being removed from the library? Is that sort of thing beginning to happen to you guys?
I'm in Asheville. It's been called the San Francisco of the East Coast.
Oh,
so
cool. Okay. So
we have a very
you got
LGBTQ
hit
friendly
crowd.
like county. Yeah, we're backed up. Like we're we're safe for the most part from challenges like that. We've got all sorts of backups in place, and it's, yeah, we haven't had too much of a problem with that here.
It must be a
Thankfully.
discussion you've all had, though. And
Yeah.
you have unique insight. What do you think? What's going on? I mean, what's going on for most of us who just don't understand this sudden fervor for censorship?
It's been a thing, especially with conservative Southern evangelicals for the past, gosh, I don't even know how long. There's a great Kurt Vonnegut quote that I cannot remember right now, that's from when he was still around, that kind of addresses it, libraries. And I think it's getting a lot of attention right now because there's a coordinated push against LGBTQ specific topics in books, and those being available to younger readers.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, they're just all kind of working together with that.
They're getting more organized is sort of what
Yeah.
you mean.
Yeah.
Certainly when you get to the parents and the parents start, getting angry, then it's hard to beat. That you can't beat a wall of parents, and you can't say better about their children's education than parents, which is mystifying to me, because parents are supposed to hand over their children to teachers to do the educating stuff. We'll do the home educating stuff, but we trust you to know about your subject. I do not know about, quantum physics. Not many kids do quantum, but there'll be time. In time they will. So that's really depressing. Yeah, okay. That's what's going on. Okay, so you've got yours covered. You're barricaded. You're barricaded and defended by a bunch of really terrific people around you. So you're in good shape.
And with what I do, I don't have to work with the public, which is my favorite part of my job. So I'm literally barricaded from the public.
You love that bit. That's the bit.
Yes.
Yes, we've heard complaints from some of the librarians. It's like, the one thing I can't deal with is people being rude again and again and again. Yeah, that is difficult, because people feel entitled, all this free stuff, and they should get it. It's quite ironic, isn't it? Well, I'm really glad to catch you wheeled in front of me by Mel.
Happy birthday, Betsy.
Happy
Thank you.
It's her own fault. She emailed me. We're gonna go meet Natasha. This is her first time chatting with you.
Oh, fantastic, Natasha.
Hello.
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 Where are you?
In Germany, Frankfurt.
Oh my goodness, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And we've never talked. Have you been,
No.
Here a few times and just listened?
The last 2 times only, I just got into rewatching DS9. And yeah, that's how I found Sid City Social Club.
Oh, fantastic. How is your family and you after the COVID thing? Is everyone well?
That my brother died.
Oh,
so yeah,
I'm sorry.
I work as a forensic pathologist.
You're a forensic pathologist.
Yeah.
I want to get into that. What was his name?
So, Patrick.
Patrick. And were you a similar age?
He was 37, I'm 31, and yeah. That's a tattoo I got 2 months ago. He had a phoenix tattooed on his chest, and
oh, that's beautiful.
I asked one of my colleagues who did perform the autopsy to describe the phoenix to me, and I got it tattooed. Yeah.
Do you want me asking, what were his favorite things to do? What did he before he started to lose sense of his way? What were his what made him laugh? What did he really enjoy doing?
His children. He had 2 wonderful children. My nicest, they are 18 and 16 years old now. Yeah, and we played a lot of computer games and listen to music, and we went to concerts, and yeah. It's
really not fair when you are obviously were inspired. You were inspired to and so lucky to be inspired to leave and get out from it. But it's very hard to do what you did, and it's incredible. It's so for children especially, because what do they know? You know, they're not wise enough to know this is a bad thing. These are my parents. I think that's really difficult. So you went to you said to yourself, I can't do this anymore. I have to go.
I couldn't do this because I lost so much of my life because of that, and I didn't want to lose everything ahead of me. So yeah.
Do you remember when you were 15? Do you remember going, right, I'm gonna get out?
I think at the age of 14, and I wanted to study something. I didn't thought of studying medicine because I didn't think I would get the grades and I could do this, but I just wanted to do something with my life. And
how did you do it? Because it's really interesting, because you're too young to make some decisions. You know, you can't, it's not easy to enroll in a college. How did you do it? How did you
one big thing for me in my life was Star Trek. It really inspired me, and it was like parents I never had, and it's the thing I turn to when I'm going through tough times. And
so you decided when you were 18, when you finished school, that you were going to go into medicine.
I had the grades to study medicine, and I always wanted to do something like it, because I adore the doctors at Star Trek. And
how did you find forensic pathology? Because that's quite a tangent. And
it's a topic in our studies. Everyone has to go through it. It's just a small part of medicine, but it always it's fascinating. You're doing so much different things. It's not only working in a hospital. You're going to crime scenes. You're doing autopsies. You're doing clinical examinations. You're working with different people in different cities. It's
And it struck me that you said that your brother, you were on the phone to your colleague who was doing the
not on the phone. He in the same office. It was hard, and I for the first month I think I was really upset, and nothing could cheer me up. And my husband, I'm married the second time, he said we could watch DS9 again, maybe it will cheer me up. And so I think you have to have hope, some kind of hope, because if I wouldn't think there's something good to be coming,
I couldn't agree with you more. I completely understand what you're saying, and your English is perfectly good. And I couldn't agree with you more that without hope, we're in trouble, especially from people who have really difficult backgrounds like your background, where you just busted out. You just did. I mean, you were so brave to actually put one foot in front of the other in the direction of the door, and somehow organize your life, education without the benefit of parents to help you. That's, to me, astonishing. I mean, that's just
I think you have to find something to inspire you. I think that's important, and this is what I'm looking for. I think what I'm going to look for my whole life, because it's important. And
do you find that your colleagues and you working in the lab, because you're human beings, you've got to have fun, you've got to have fun, you've got to make dealing with difficult things. Most people would have not be able to do what you look at. But do you find that you've developed a thick skin, a shield, or do you
we developed coping mechanisms, and maybe a dark sense of humor. You have to cope with these things. Most people think that forensic pathologists are cold and distant, but I do think our colleagues are the most empathic human beings I ever met, because of the things they've seen and they are seeing daily. And you can talk to them about everything and they understand.
I don't know if you've read it, but there's a book I think is really charming, and I don't know if it's in German, published in Germany, by a author called Belinda Bauer, German surname, but it's called Rubbernecker, and it's about a young man with Asperger's, and he becomes he goes to school to learn forensic pathology, and the sequence of events is very funny, and it's very good, wonderful book. But you might not like reading things that are to do with that, but it doesn't really go
Sometimes.
into detail. It doesn't go into any of the scientific detail.
Yeah.
It's more about his character and how searching for he thought he could find the meaning of life in death. That's basically his thing as someone with Asperger's, and very high functioning, but very funny read, very funny book. Some tragic things, but obviously everything is some tragic. I don't know if you read, but it's called Rubbernecker if you're interested. I'm astonished at your story. I mean, you could write a book. Do you write?
I don't write this way. I write reports for my work, but I never wrote something like that.
Your story is a genuine inspiration, and there are so many people, especially today, who are going through exactly what you went through at 14 and 13, and so many of them ended up like your brothers, but because they didn't have a figure like you to go, it's actually possible to get out of this. It's actually possible to get away and look and be normal, and not normal, but be a contributing, high achieving person who is finding at least as much happiness as most people, if not more. That's pretty amazing. You really ought to think about either making a journal or something. You're still very, very young, and you've got time. Your story is wonderful. I mean, it's like a movie. It's astonishing.
Yeah,
and I've only
I have to think people like you who inspired me, and with their roles and with their dedication to.
Yeah, I mean, you're just
Thanks.
an amazing, high functioning person. It's tremendous to see, and breaking out of that is something I probably couldn't have done myself. So I'm actually amazed. What apart from watching TV, do you guys, you and your husband, do you guys like to cook? Do you like to go out? Do you like to do movies? Do you like to walk? What do you like, or do you like to do things separately? What are your favorite things other than
he's more the gaming type. He likes PC games and card games, and I'm more the sports type. I like going to the gym, and I did martial arts, kendo and karate, and yeah. It's just a hobby. I think it's
one of my least favorite places. The gym, to see banks and banks of people staring at the wall and walking going nowhere. This makes me really upset. All of you people, you can get somewhere with all this energy. You could actually go somewhere instead of just standing here. But hey, that's
I can understand.
I hear that the rowing machine. I might one day get a rowing machine. Because I hear that's very, I used to do that a little bit. Didn't like doing. I'm so skinny that if I lost any more weight, I wouldn't get work again. So they were like, no, don't lose any more weight. You're already too damn skinny. So I couldn't do anything aerobic, but apparently, well, if you row, that's doing a lot of good for a lot of parts of your body. I had to do a job called Hannibal. I had to get bigger. And it's the only time I've ever gone to the gym to actually change my body, because I'm kind of against it. I think actors should look like representative of everybody. They shouldn't look like Greek gods, and all like so. But anyway, I was playing a Carthaginian demigod, so I thought, I'll go to the gym, and I went for about 6 months, and I didn't enjoy it at all. I hated it. But I got a bit bigger, and I put on 2 pounds or something. And the director would say, "So, do you want to take your top off?" And I said, "Do you want the audience to laugh?" And he was like, well, maybe not. I think I did take my top off. I had a bathing scene with an actress, which was very embarrassing. But I don't mind. I always have to warn people that it's funny. If you want to make this scene funny, then take my clothes off by all means. But you're going to have the audience rolling in the aisles. They're going to be laughing their socks off. Well, listen, I can't thank you enough for telling us your story. I mean, it's just I want to talk to you again. I would love to talk to you a lot more. I don't want you to bring any photos from work. I'm okay.
No, I wouldn't.
But it is, you are just amazing. You're an amazing person. You should know that. I mean, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Your story is an uplifting, and that your smile and your presence is just so gorgeous. And I'm really glad people like you exist all over the place.
Thank you for talking to me, and thank you and Mel for everything.
Thank you.
Thanks, Natasha. All right, let's go check in with Irena.
Irena.
Hi.
Oh, hi. How is Edinburgh treating you?
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. We've had a huge heat wave here.
I know.
That's
What the
the
hell's going
only
on?
reason why I was warm enough.
Yes, because there's no air conditioning anywhere in Britain. How are you? It's a long time since we saw you. I haven't seen you since
Yeah, it's been at least a year.
a while. Yeah, absolutely.
It's been a
It was
long
at
time.
Halloween or something. I saw you.
Yeah. Lots has happened. So the last update I think you've had, while Andy was here, incidentally, is that I got into an acting MFA course. So
I did get that. That was fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations. That's quite a while back.
thank you. I'm now at the end of the first year, pretty much, and it's culminated in a Fringe show. We've done a Fringe show for this year's Edinburgh Fringe.
Oh my
and
goodness, how fantastic.
yeah, we've put on Carol Churchill's After Dinner Joke, which was a play written for television, actually in like 1970s. And it's every bit as relevant today as it was back then. It basically talks about charity and how charity is inseparable from capitalism and how everything's kind of enmeshed and you cannot escape the system. And the system will mess you up.
Yeah, no, that's amazing that you moved country. Yeah, you just made a decision. You have a wonderful partner who went, yep, let's go.
He's the best. He's the best.
Obviously. And you went Edinburgh, and you just did it. And right in the middle of COVID, right in the middle of it all.
Yeah, it was in August.
We saw you when you landed, and we saw you,
Yeah.
and it was you had boxes all over the place, and it was you had nothing in your apartment, obviously. So you're gonna get a master's in fine art, which is fantastic. How are the people? How is life unfolding for you?
It's been interesting. It's been very intense. So because I haven't been in an academic environment for like 7 or 8 years, it was just difficult to get into the swing of things because suddenly, oh, you're full-time learning and everything. You're there all day, every day, rehearsals all the time. But at the same time, this is the only thing that I can truly see myself doing and find pleasure in the process itself.
Yeah.
So it's not a slog. It's difficult. It's hellishly difficult at times because it requires you to deconstruct humanity, to deconstruct yourself, to know what you're doing, to be completely self-aware, and it's so hard.
Not great.
Also, yeah, the people in the course are really nice, most of them.
Actors can be just really bratty, you know. It can be really unpleasant to each other, especially. And you don't find in movies. You don't see them, so it's no problem. You just don't see them. They come in, they do their thing, they go away. But in theater, you're
there. You're there.
Yeah,
and it's a team sport. And if you don't pull your weight, if everybody doesn't work together, it's just a nightmare.
How did the show get received? How was it?
3 stars mostly, which
Oh,
is
wow, that's
bad
great.
for
Yeah.
the amount of drama we've had in the group. The show itself is fun, and I really like the political message of it, and I really liked the work, but the people have made it entirely more stressful than it should
Yeah,
have been.
well, you got to take the rough with the smooth, and in
Yeah.
navigating that, the social politics is just part of the job. I mean, acting attracts some really unpleasant people for some reason.
Yeah, it was interesting because like we have one autistic man in the group who is by far the most responsible person in there and willing to work and put in the effort and everything. And then we have me, who is in the process of getting a diagnosis for autism as well. So
Have you? Is that what you've been diagnosed?
I am in the process of getting a diagnosis. So
Okay. And
it's still ongoing.
What led you to seek that out?
Actually, writing Under the Blind Moon did.
Ah.
Because I was writing it from Julian's perspective, and I was just writing and going, why is writing an autistic person so easy? This shouldn't be so easy. And then I was like, oh.
That's interesting.
Oh, well, maybe there are signs. Maybe I should look into this.
It's not going to change anything because you're you, and someone's just going to say, well, that's part of you. But
yeah, true. But it makes perfect sense when you consider just how difficult it's always been for me to navigate social interaction.
I can tell. Yeah, you're always really awkward.
Yeah, right? Because I'm not used to people.
You're one of the most charming people anybody has ever met. But anyway, yeah, okay. That you're the charming or awkward navigator. This
Glad
is
you
your
think
facade.
so. But I would like to think that I make up for my lack of smooth operating with, quirkiness.
Yeah. Your accent is transformed. Your English accent is transformed.
I've been living here for
I know, but only it's really hard. It's really hard. That's amazing. I mean, I know people who've been living in the States for 40 years and they're still talking with whatever accent they arrived with. And you're like, wait a minute, you've been in
I find that completely inconceivable because it sounds wrong. Even when I was in Croatia, I know what it's supposed to sound like, RP, or I know what general American accent is supposed to sound like. And when people try speaking the language, I can just tell that's wrong.
Well, that's
I know them speaking it with a Croatian accent and it makes perfect sense, but to me, that just sounds wrong. That's not
amazing. It's important you do know received pronunciation, what they call, because otherwise you can't just slide into jobs work as a British police person or all the kind of things they like to do in Britain. I'm just thinking it's amazing, and you're at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Yeah,
I'm amazed.
Yeah, we have 4 to go.
Wow.
But at the same time, I'm really looking forward to it because my family is showing up on Sunday.
Ah, that's great.
They're flying in from Zagreb just to see me and to see the show.
Fantastic.
And I wonder if they'll actually understand anything because they're
who cares? Who cares? It's just to see you on the stage it's exactly what they had hoped would be happening a year from now, a year ago. How long before the end of the year? Before
it's done immediately after Fringe is done, which is 27th of August. So it's done, and then we start the first week of September. So no rest for the week.
So how many years is this? How many years is? Okay. I think it's really exciting. I think it's terrific that you're doing what you're doing, and I want to hear more. First
year we were doing theatre. Next year we're doing only screen work. So that's
good. Yeah, great. It's hard. It's hard transition.
Different. It's hard so different.
I would be interested to talk to you about it when you get to that stage, because there's a lot of technique involved which you just don't realize is happening because you cannot show it. Whereas on stage, you've got to project performances right out there.
I'm used to emphasizing things and being extremely emotive with my face. That's going to be a hard transition to screen when you're like Tone it down. Tone it down to 95%.
It'll look like you've just, you know, drunk too much Kool-Aid or had way too many coffees. If
I'm on drugs.
Well, Irena, it's so lovely to catch up with you. I'm really happy that you're doing so well. It's really great. You're on the road to what you want to do, and that you were so clever to go and study. You know, to go. That's humble to do that, and it's really terrific. Well, thank you, Irena, for coming and saying hi and for catching us up with everybody.
Yes.
It's lovely.
Congratulations on making it through that year.
Very much so.
All right, we are going to check in with Sarah, who's also got some accomplishments to report.
Hello.
Sarah, hello.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you? Much more importantly.
I am actually doing really, really well.
Oh, that's great.
On Monday, I started a new job. I had been with my previous position for almost a decade, and having been miserable for about almost a decade there, I applied for and accepted a job at a university library.
Oh my goodness, fantastic.
So I've had my first 2 days now, and I am already completely in love.
Oh, what a lovely thing to do, because it's such a peaceful atmosphere. I mean, it's frenetic, but it's you know, it's peaceful for the soul.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited about it.
Wow, that's fantastic. Wow, congratulations. That's so great. So what are your responsibilities?
I'm still kind of figuring that out. It's mainly circulation desk.
Yeah.
At least to start with. So checking out books, checking in books.
Yeah.
But
which
also,
is a real thing in a university.
Yeah. But also a lot of going to find the books. Yeah, I'm getting thrown in headfirst with the Library of Congress cataloging system.
Yeah, what is it called? Duodecimal or something?
No, it's not that one. That's the one that I grew up with. This is
what is it?
And I have no idea, but I know how to find things if they give me the numbers.
Wow.
I'll figure out what it means later.
And has this required a move, or are you staying in the same home?
Yeah, this is it's about 15 minutes away.
Oh, perfect.
So and the funny thing is, it's a satellite branch of the university I actually got my undergrad at.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So I've now full circled back around.
You're back at your alma mater.
Yep.
That actually means something now. That's really cool. That's really great. So you've only done 2 days training. You really have no idea what on earth is going on. Bless you, Colin. So you have absolutely no idea what's going on, and you're still finding your feet, trying to figure out whether you're coming or going. What is the college like? What is the campus like?
It's really pretty. It's very small, very pretty. There's a giant lake in the middle. Or a pond. They call it the lake, but it's a pond.
Right. That is gorgeous. I love the fact that finally the students are beginning to live a fairly normalized life, you know, I mean, a routine life, which is really great, because they've just not been fair for them, especially been robbed of 2 years of their education by not being around other students, because you learn so much from each other, that it's from being around each other.
I'm doing my entire master's program online now.
Wow.
So I've yet to meet a single person that I have classes with in person.
Wow. Are you doing librarianism as a master's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Library and information science.
It's astonishing how qualified you have to be to work in a library. I mean, you just never would know. You'd never realize.
Yeah, it's so much more than just putting books away and.
Absolutely.
Like
I mean, it's also the social hub of a whole area, and coming up with and understanding the character of the culture of your area, and in a strict library sense, you're basically curating a scenario that suits your demographic, whoever lives around you. Yeah. So you're going to be just living in sort of a bag of nerves for the next 2 days.
I would say yes, but I'm also writing a pair of papers this weekend, so I'll be a little distracted anyway.
Good. I hope so, because I mean, you're going to have so much fun.
But since I know we've got a hard cutoff time today, I want to share my other exciting thing.
Oh, please
'Cause
do.
I sent Mel some videos.
Oh,
I don't know if
perfect.
you remember, but I rock climb.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
I'm not super good at it, but about a
those
month
are
ago-
overhangs. Yeah.
About a month ago, I succeeded at my very first overhang.
Wow.
I have been fighting with various ones on this wall for about 2 years.
Oh,
And
my goodness.
this isn't the first time I did it, but this is the first climb that I managed on this wall. I was so proud of myself and nobody was there to see me. So I figured, you know what, let me set my camera up hanging on my water bottle and
Oh my
yeah,
goodness, you're doing this without belay, without anyone underneath you holding a rope.
right. Yeah, I boulder, so it's lower walls, bigger pads, but no harness or
Oh, but that is still breakneck height, Sarah. That's a really you got to fall well if you're going to fall from that.
Yeah, the funny thing about this wall is I started fighting with it after I took a really bad fall on a different wall.
Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. That is awesome. That is really good.
That was exciting.
You are brilliant. That is incredibly hard.
Thank you. And then the other video is I was trying to figure out what I was doing wrong on this climb. And instead of figuring out what I did wrong, I actually captured myself succeeding at it for the first time.
Oh.
So again, it's not anything super hard. It's
not easy.
I'm afraid of heights.
It's fantastic. Amazing.
Why I rock climb, I don't understand to this day. There's a mental component to it that just is so, the feeling of getting to the top of something you never thought you'd be able to do is just unreal. So
absolutely, and trusting yourself.
Yes, and learning to trust yourself.
Yeah.
That's where I kept getting stuck over and over again. For about 3 weeks, I was getting stuck on this spot. And that's it.
You found the blue toe hold. You found the blue toe hold. That's awesome.
Someday I'll figure out how to climb down it. But
it's amazing. Did you watch the Olympics? This in the Olympics?
Yes.
Wasn't it incredible to see those guys clambering up and then getting through and then going up to the top and then hitting the bell at the top? It's just like,
I don't watch the speed climbing as much, which is I think the one that you might be talking about with the bell at the top.
Yeah.
I watch the bouldering and the lead climbing.
Well, thank you, Sarah. You have every right to feel very accomplished, because that's astonishing.
I'm so proud of myself for it. I wanted to share.
Yeah, do more. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Exciting stuff. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up because our man Sid has stuff to do before he.
I'm sorry though, guys. I didn't get to M. I'm sorry. We will get to you. We'll get to you. Mel never forgets.
Never forgets. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Guys.
Safe travels, Sid.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.